Hey everyone, Cassius here, and welcome back to the Shakespeare Minute. Today I am going to touch on a topic that I honestly can't believe we haven't spoken of sooner. Cassius. As hinted at in that intro, today I'm going to be discussing Cassius and his seduction speech from Act 1, Scene 2 of Julius Caesar. If you are unfamiliar, the scene and speech are at the top of the play, where Brutus is still pretty ambivalent about Caesar, and Cassius goes on an epic rant about why Caesar doesn't deserve to take up as much power as he's likely to receive. This effectively pushes Brutus into the let's kill Caesar camp. Now, the speech is long and crazy, and I will delve into it more in a more general talk on Cassius's motives in a later piece. I have much to say about Cassius, of course, but today I want to focus in on one particular thing that Cassius has to say about Caesar, particularly that Caesar is physically infirm. Here is some of what he has to say on the subject.
He had a fever when he was in Spain. And when the fit was on him, I did note how he did shake. 'Tis true, this god did shake. His coward lips did from their colour fly. Gods, it doth amaze me. A man of such a feeble temper should so get the start of the majestic world and bear the palm alone.
Now, Cassius is not wrong about this. Caesar does have some physical difficulties, including seizures.
What, did Caesar swoon?
He fell down in the marketplace and foamed at mouth and was speechless.
'Tis very like he hath the falling sickness.
And deafness.
Come on my right hand, for this here is deaf.
But there is a bit of a weird hypocrisy going on here, and it is very hard to spot, because up until this point, there is no evidence that Cassius himself has any physical infirmities or difficulties. But in the very next scene after the seduction speech, it is pointed out that Cassius has terrible eyesight. In fact, it comes up twice, where Cassius identifies people in the dark not by seeing their face, but by more general, less sight-intensive means.
Here comes one in haste. 'Tis Sinner. I know him by his gait. He is a friend.
Now, in both of these instances, Cassius uses his other means of deduction, and he comes off like he's a really sharp observer. Maybe it's not an eye thing after all. But later in the battle, he says outright, "My sight was ever thick."
Go, Pinderus, get higher on the hill.
My sight was ever thick.
Regard Titinius, and tell me what thou knowst about the field.
He seems to be a pretty good observer, both of others and of himself. And yet he does not think it's weird to blame Caesar for faults that he has himself. And Cassius isn't just holding Caesar to a higher standard because Caesar wants to rule over all of Rome. After all, Cassius makes it a point to say that he himself proved strong enough to pull Caesar from the water in his story about how Caesar was not able to swim strongly. Also, Cassius, despite any infirmities that he has, considers himself to be an elder, abler soldier than Brutus. He doesn't see his own infirmities as problems. He has learned from his experience and even from his faults. What's even more bizarre is that Cassius, as a determined observer, is distinctly non-hypocritical in his major Act 4 blow-up with Brutus, one of the major set pieces for the character in the entire play. This scene, where the two co-conspirators lose their minds at each other, all starts because Cassius stepped in to defend Lucius Pella, one of the officers in their combined armies, for taking bribes. Now, Cassius wouldn't admit this openly, but he is also liable to unsavory money raising, and defending this activity in someone else, even if he won't admit it himself, is a distinctly non-hypocritical act.
You have condemned and noted Lucius Pella for taking bribes here of the Sardians. Were in my letters, praying on his side because I knew the man was slighted off.
You wronged yourself to write in such a case.
In such a time as this, it is not meet that every nice offense should bear his comment.
So, this sharp, quick eye, prone to non-hypocrisy even in the face of honor and his close friends, is hypocritical about Caesar. Just another instance like the Henry IV speech, which I covered earlier, where words cannot be taken at face value. Cassius is not simply seeing Caesar's infirmity, but a deeper ugliness that he has a real problem with, and it is absolutely key to recognize his error as part of a passionate motivation that clouds an otherwise clear mind. More to come about Cassius's motivation in further videos, to be sure. But for now, I will bid the site adieu for 2 weeks. As I mentioned in my Tempest review, I'm taking the GMAT soon, and I really need to buckle down and polish off my preparation for it. Wish me luck, and I will see you back here on June 20th with a belated Father's Day episode. Oh, by the way, after the hiatus, videos will be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, not Sunday, Wednesday, Friday. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will be back soon.